One night, while he's resting inside his cell, that is when a group of men appear, security from a different jail, and they roughly grab Frank and transport him from this place to a completely new jail. Frank tries to explain that he received no notification regarding a transfer from this location. They simply reply that this is how they operate. In the new jail he's been taken to, there are extremely dangerous criminals here. The warden in charge here is the very same warden from whose jail Frank had escaped from before. As it happens, after Frank's escape, the warden became quite infamous, and so he arranged for Frank's transfer to his jail. This is all because he's seeking revenge against Frank. The captain on duty then explains the regulations to Frank, and warns that if you violate any regulation, you will be punished accordingly. Then he's thrown into a solitary cell. After some time passes, he's brought before the warden. The warden says that the last time you managed to escape from my jail, so the press turned you into some kind of hero. But I became a disgrace. I was demoted. I used to be considered among America's premier jailers, that is, the very best wardens. But I'm not even on that list anymore. People whisper about me and mock me behind my back. And you're the sole cause of this. Frank responds that he is not responsible for this. In truth, this entire situation has happened because of you. I had begged you to just let me visit my mentor for only 1 hour, but you refused to let me out. That is the reason I was forced to escape the prison. Because of that, my sentence was extended by 5 years. But the warden is completely indifferent to this. His only goal is getting his revenge. Following this, Frank gets tossed into a special cell. A gas is pumped into it. This happens any time an inmate messes up or violates any rule. He is then placed into this specific chamber and gas is pumped inside it. Frank has done nothing wrong, yet he is being punished anyway. He's sealed inside the chamber as the gas fills it, which makes breathing for him extremely hard. The man who operates the gas control there, he knows it is time for the gas to be shut off, but the warden orders him not to. Frank is agonizing inside, and just as he is on the verge of death, then the gas is finally shut off. The experience traumatizes Frank. Also in the prison is an inmate named Chink. All the prisoners fear him, because he is the warden's personal enforcer. The warden instructs Chink that he must teach Frank a lesson, and later when Frank emerges, then Chink confronts him, flanked by his entire crew of friends. He is holding an ice pick in his hand, with which a person can easily be killed. But just before he can lunge at Frank, a guard happens to walk by, who notices that Chink is armed with an ice pick. With it, he intends to stab Frank, but Chink has his own men surrounding him. With their assistance, he can hide the ice pick. And so the security guard asks Frank, was he holding an ice pick? Frank denies it, since he is trying to avoid any confrontations here. Now while Frank is on cleaning duty, at that time, another inmate called Dallas approaches him. He says that the prison you escaped from. I was an inmate there. I've heard that you are extremely resourceful. You have the skills to escape any prison. I suggest that we both break out of here. However, Frank flatly turns him down. He explains that his whole sentence will be over after 2 months. Dallas insists that you go with me. You're a talented mechanic. I will take care of the cleaning and arrange for you the job of a mechanic. And so he escorts him to the garage. But the mechanic in charge there says, I have no work for some amateur. I need expert people. For this reason, Frank leaves from there. After this, Dallas reveals his own plan to Frank, that he will escape through a ventilation pipe, which leads directly upward. Frank says that he probably didn't examine the pipe very well. The air temperature inside it. It gets so incredibly hot that the second you crawl inside it, you'll be burned alive. Hearing this information, Dallas becomes terrified. The following day, when they are eating, that is when they notice a new inmate has arrived there, whose name happens to be Pina. Everyone is bothering him. Frank intervenes to help him, and so Frank also sits by him, where Dallas is too. Pina states his desire to avoid joining any faction. Then an inmate murders another using an ice pick. This sight terrifies Pina. Frank warns that if you remain unaffiliated with any crew, then he will probably just target you next. Pina quickly joins their group. The following day, Chink approaches Frank. How about a friendly rugby game? Frank accepts the challenge. So a rugby match is arranged between them. Chink and his entire crew. They all play dirty. They brutally assault Frank. However, Frank is an excellent player, so he holds his own against them. The head mechanic is also observing their game. The same man who initially barred Frank from the garage. He witnesses the injustice, so he decides to join Frank's team. With his help, they begin overpowering Chink's side. The players are also fighting. Soon, the guards arrive on scene. Consequently, the game is over. The head mechanic tells him, "You can start in the garage tomorrow. You'll be working with me." So the following morning, he reports to the shop. The head mechanic gives him a complete tour. A classic Mustang is also parked there. The head mechanic explains that this was his most beloved car. But the engine is now totally destroyed. It is beyond all repair. Frank replies that he would enjoy giving it a shot. He says, "If you can fix it, then I will happily give you anything you ask for." So Frank immediately begins to repair the vehicle's engine. He even consults repair manuals. He is truly very skilled at this work. He toils relentlessly day and night, finally starting the car's engine. He gives it a new paint job. Now the vehicle looks brand new. Pina is sitting in the passenger seat beside him. Pina admits that he doesn't know how to drive. Frank shows him the basics of driving. Pina asks if he will ever get the chance to drive this car again. Frank just says no. Then he recklessly drives the car outside and takes it onto the yard. There he starts doing donuts in the car. And then the warden shows up. Frank is present. The warden understands that Pina was the one responsible, but he orders Pina to get away from there, because his real target for revenge is Frank. Following this, he hands a baseball bat over to Chink and orders him to destroy the car. The vehicle is demolished right before Frank's eyes. This leaves Frank completely heartbroken, and for his punishment, Frank is thrown into solitary, where it is pitch black inside. But for torture, multiple times a day, a blinding light is turned on there. He is then ordered to face the overhead camera. State your name. Frank must comply. He remains in that cell for many days. This begins to take a toll on his sanity, and one day he is asked his name. This time, he gives the wrong name. Immediately, the guards enter his cell, and they beat him absolutely senseless. The captain of the prison. He arrives and makes everyone stop. He sees that Frank is being unjustly punished. He gets Frank out of that place. Meanwhile, Frank's girlfriend has sent him numerous letters, but none have been given to Frank yet. Finally, the letters are handed to Frank. He is overjoyed to read them, and now he has been released from solitary. He then heads to the garage to see his friends. There, Pina offers him an apology. He says that I truly deserved that punishment. Frank replies that it no longer matters to him. I have been stuck in this prison for 40 days, and in another 20 days I will finally be released from here. I just need to wait for that day. The next day, while Frank is eating, then Chink appears. He grabs his entire plate of food and just walks away. But Frank says nothing to him. Then Frank's friends come over and share their food with him. When the warden learns that Frank did not react to Chink at all, he becomes absolutely furious. And so he tells Chink that you need to do something about this in order to extend Frank's sentence. For this reason, Chink gathers his crew, and they summon Frank's friend Pina to the weight room. There, he is severely beaten. Afterwards, Chink lets a very heavy barbell from the bench press fall on him. This crushes and kills him. And once Frank learns what happened, then he becomes enraged. He knows that this entire situation unfolded because of him, because the warden needs him to clash with Chink. And so he goes out to battle Chink and his companions, where he overpowers them all brutally. While fighting Chink, he pins him onto a bench. And now, in the same way Chink killed Pino, Frank is about to drop a weight on him in that exact manner. But then he glances at the warden. He realizes that this is the warden's gambit. The warden actually wants him to murder Chink, so his sentence will be extended, and he can continue to torture him for his entire life. But he refuses to do that, and so he lets Chink live. But then one of the men from Chink's crew, who is armed with an ice pick, he stabs Frank from behind, wounding him. After this, he is brought to the medical ward. Here his girlfriend also arrives to visit him, to whom a half-hour visit has been approved. They are both incredibly happy to see one another, because they are both very much in love. But after only 5 minutes, the guards arrive here, who escort his girlfriend out from here. And so when Frank is in his cell that night, then another inmate approaches him. He says that I am scheduled to be released from here tomorrow. After my release from here, I will find your girlfriend. I will violate her, and then I will kill her. And so no one can stop me. He then shows him a photograph of his girlfriend. This causes Frank to become extremely worried. He tells the guards on duty that he needs to make a call, but they refuse to allow him to make a call. And so Dallas then comes to him. He tells Dallas that I am forced to escape from here. Dallas says your sentence is scheduled to end in just a few days. You shouldn't do this. He says that if I am unable to get out of here, then that man will murder my girlfriend. And so now, together with Dallas, he makes a plan to escape from the jail. They begin by knocking the on-duty guard unconscious. And then they make it to the other side of the wall, where they must turn right from that spot. Frank says that we need to go right from here, but Dallas insists that we have to turn left from here. I know the correct path from this point. You are just going to have to trust me. Frank trusts him and follows him to the left. And when they proceed ahead, the warden is waiting. He is standing there with many of his guards. And just like that, Frank is captured. He realizes that his supposed friend Dallas has betrayed him. He asks why you would do this. Dallas says that if not today, then you would be released from jail tomorrow. But I am serving a life sentence. The warden promised me that if I helped to trap you, then he would create a chance for me to escape, so that I could get out of this jail forever. And now the warden, who has seen his plan succeed, he is extremely pleased. He says to Frank that the first time you escaped, your sentence was extended by another 5 years. And now you have made a second attempt. So now your sentence will be increased by 10 years. And for the next 10 years, I will destroy your life. At this point, Dallas says to the warden, now let me go from here. I did exactly what you wanted. The warden replies that nobody can ever escape from my jail. He gestures towards his guards, after which they beat Dallas viciously and toss him into the water. After this, before the warden can depart from here, he orders his guards to beat Frank severely and throw him back into his cell. Saying this, he turns and walks away. And so when the guards lunge at Frank, Frank also fights back against them, and he brutally beats the guards one by one. He tosses one guard into the water, and just as he is about to leave from here, then Dallas tells him that you could understand my predicament. Will you take me along with you? Frank says yes. In truth, Frank had forgiven him. Frank reaches out his hand. Then the guard, who is still in the water, he begins to choke Frank. Frank is about to die. Then Dallas pulls out an electric cable from there and says that if you don't release Frank, then I will drop this cable, this current, into the water, with which you will die right along with me. He has to release Frank out of helplessness. And then Dallas drops that wire in the water, with which, along with him, that guard also dies. Frank now flees from here. Everyone knows that Frank is escaping from jail. A manhunt begins for him, but no one has any idea about Frank. The warden becomes incredibly angry about this, that Frank has once again slipped from his grasp. He screams that I want Frank found alive. And then Frank appears from behind and stabs him. And he says that what did you really think? That I would just run away from here, and I would spend my whole life on the run from the police. I could not do that. And so he drags the warden to the execution chamber, where he straps him onto the electric chair, the same chair that prisoners are sat on, who have been given the death sentence. Here now all the security guards have also arrived, with whom the captain is also present. Frank wires his hand to an electric switch. A pistol is rigged to it. Frank says that if you decide to shoot me, then this switch will be activated by my death, with which the warden will be electrocuted. The captain says that not a single bullet will be fired. And now he says to the warden that you must confess all your crimes, everything that you have done to me. The captain has to be told the complete truth, after which the warden tells the whole truth before the captain about how he framed Frank, so that he would try to escape from here, and his sentence would then be increased. As soon as the warden has confessed, Frank yanks the switch down, with which the warden lets out a scream. But he doesn't receive a shock, because Frank had already taken out its fuse. He says that I had no desire to kill him. In truth, I only wanted the warden's crimes to be revealed in front of all of you. And now the captain orders that Frank should be arrested. Also the warden, because he has violated every law for his own personal vendetta. After this, Frank is released from here a week later. Because everything he did was part of the warden's conspiracy, the warden is fired from his position, and he is still facing criminal charges. With that, this story comes to an end here.